What's up YouTube, Metro here 2012, and today I am starting a franchise in Madden 18 with none other than the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is just too tempting. I want to kind of rebuild this roster with Lamar Jackson in mind. I want to have a successful quarterback that's mobile. I want the next Michael Vick, and Lamar Jackson has 91 speed, 95 acceleration, and like 90 agility, which is like good for a running back, and he's a quarterback. So yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of fun with Lamar Jackson. So let's go ahead, jump into a franchise mode, make some proper moves, and see what we can do with this roster. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat realistic, with a few things obviously being slightly different. But for the most part, realistic rebuild of the Ravens. Triple R, whatever you want to call it. Let's jump right into it. Alright guys, so on the offensive line, I really like Ronnie Stanley and Orlando Brown, so I'd like to start Orlando Brown, and then Ronnie Stanley, I was looking between their stats. He's got very good, well, run block is pretty even, run block power is pretty even, run block finesse, Ronnie Stanley is a little bit better, and then lead block, Ronnie Stanley is quite a bit better. So I'm thinking if we're running to the right side, a lead block skill is good. So I'm thinking he's going to be pretty much interchangeable as a right tackle as well. So we're going to go ahead and move him from left tackle to right tackle, and he was 79 overall. So let's see what happens to his overall if we move Ronnie Stanley over to right tackle so that we can start Orlando Brown at left. 79 overall, so he stayed the same. Our other right tackle was rated at 70 overall, and then below them 63 overall. So not a lot to work with. We might move one of these guys over to left tackle to fill our roster. We'll see. We might sign somebody. Alright guys, so the only team that was interested in Joe Flacco was the New York Giants, and I thought a lot about this. I looked through all the teams and their quarterback situations. The only other team I considered trading him to that I thought would be slightly more realistic is the Jaguars, because I feel like they're like a great quarterback away from being an easy Super Bowl contender, and I feel like Blake Bortles is just not quite enough to get him there. They only had yellow interest, and also in this game, Eli Manning is about 74 overall rated, and he's like 37 years old. Joe Flacco is 33, so he's got 4 years on him, and he's also about 6 overall better, 5 overall better. So the deal makes sense for the Giants. They're only giving away a second-round pick, and they're also getting a 5th the next year in return. So it actually makes sense all in all, especially if they're considering moving on from Eli Manning. They'll get another good 3 or 4 years of Joe Flacco, and it only costs them a second-round pick. And if they think Flacco can be a better quarterback, I guess it's a competition now in New York. But for me, I got his salary off our books. I got a second-round pick, and now we can focus on Lamar Jackson being our starting quarterback. Alright guys, so another trade I went ahead and did, I was shopping around Nick Boyle. I have a lot of other tight ends I like, obviously with Hayden Hurst and then Max Williams and another rookie that we had. So Nick Boyle was just kind of a 4th tight end in the roster. I know he's like a second string, but I'm going to go with the younger guys that I think have a good chance to grow with Lamar Jackson. So we're trading away Nick Boyle. The Jets were really interested in him, and then we found that they were willing to trade Darren Lee. And I just really like him as a linebacker. He's like their 3rd string middle linebacker, so it kind of makes sense for both teams. They're getting a really good tight end, Nick Boyle. We're getting a good young middle linebacker in Darren Lee. We might have to switch his position because we have CJ Mosley, or we'll run 3-4. Not sure exactly what we're going to do, but Darren Lee's a really great player. He's going to be a good special teams player, so I think this move made a lot of sense for us. I couldn't get any draft picks in return, but this was a good deal. It made sense, and I really like how it turned out. Alright, so another big deal going down. I was shopping the middle linebacker on Wuasor, just because he's slightly older. He's like 28-ish years old, and we have Darren Lee now, a 23-year-old middle linebacker. So we're going to have Darren Lee move around the linebacker positions as a backup. So if anybody on the linebacking core is tired, he's going to fill in for them, because I think he's got the speed to play all positions, and I like him a lot. So we shopped the middle linebacker. Brandon Carr is like an over 30-year-old corner that we have on our roster, and we have 3 good top corners that are all young and can get better. Well, we have Jimmy Smith and 2 young top corners that can get better. So we'd like them to get some playing time to develop so we can be a good team in a couple of years, and Brandon Carr in the meantime would just be costing us money and taking playing time. So we're trading them along with a 4th-round pick from next year. It took all the way up to a 4th-round pick. But in order for us to get the Jets' 1st-round pick this year, could be a great pick. So I'm really hoping that turns out for us, but I'm really liking so far what we're doing with the players that are just overflowing our roster. So Willie Henry is currently a backup left end and is 79 overall. So what we're going to do is move him over to right end because he's 4 overall better than any of our right ends, and see what happens. So he stayed at 79, so we still have a couple guys that are 75 and 72 overall. But he's 24. Willie Henry's 24 years old, 79. So we're going to give him starting minutes and see if that helps him improve. Carl Davis will likely be our backup for both right end and left end. And we're going to go ahead and just change Brent Urban's position just so we have even amounts on our roster. He's going to go from right end to left end. And yeah, so our defensive line just got a little bit better with that. And yeah, Carl Davis will just back up both positions. Alright, so our second string left outside linebacker is McClellan, but he was going to be taking time away from our younger left outside linebacker, who is about the same overall, in Bowser. And this guy is 30 compared to 23, so we're getting him off the roster to give the young guy more playing time, and in the process picking up a 4th rounder this year and a 3rd rounder next year. So all in all, these guys I'm trading away, it really makes sense just to clear roster space for the young guys, since this is a rebuild and they're not essential pieces. I'm not trading away anyone like Marshall Yonder, Eric Weddle. I did trade away Joe Flacco, but that kind of makes sense. We're ready to move on from him in real life. I think they're ready to move on from him too, so still keeping it somewhat realistic, guys. Alright, so looking through free agents, it looks like the Packers cut their rookie Equanimeous St. Brown, the 6'5" speedster out of Notre Dame. He's got 90 speed, 92 acceleration, 87 agility, and he's big, 6'5". So we're going to go after Equanimeous St. Brown, see if we can fit him into our roster, hopefully sign him to a deal if he works pretty well, but I like him as a wide receiver a lot. I'm a Packer fan, so it makes sense for me. Hopefully he can become a fan favorite of the series. Another guy I think we're going to pick up is Kyzir White. So he's a rookie right outside linebacker out of West Virginia. I believe he transitioned to linebacker coming into the NFL. But he's 22 years old, 69 overall, and he's a pretty rare pass covering linebacker. So I think that's going to come in handy for us. He's going to be a good special teamer and also a good sub package for when we want to cover people with our linebackers. So I think that's a pretty good signing for us in Kyzir White. Alright, so we need just a spot for depth for cornerback because we don't have enough. So we're going to sign Darius Phillips. He's a 22-year-old corner out of Western Michigan. Looks like he's on the Bengals practice squad right now. He's a man-to-man corner with 92 speed, 90 excel, 91 agility, and he's got pretty decent man coverage at 72. Zone coverage pretty high as well at 74, 72. So I think he's going to be a good depth cornerback. Not going to play a whole lot, but he's there in case we need him. So we're going to go ahead and sign Phillips to our roster. So we still have one roster spot left to fill, and I think the perfect guy for the job is Trevone Boykin. He's a good scrambling quarterback, much like the other ones we have. The only one who's faster is Trevor Knight. Holy cow. 87 speed. Ooh. I do like the 94 agility on Boykin, though. Let's go Trevone Boykin out of TCU. He's going to be our 3rd string quarterback for the year at least. We'll see what happens after the year, but just in case a couple guys get hurt, we'll at least still have a mobile quarterback to fit our scheme. I don't like when teams have different kinds of quarterbacks for their starter and backups because then they have to change their system when they get hurt. So we're going to have 3 quarterbacks that all can play a mobile type of system, and we're going to see how that works for us. So I think that's it for the signings. Let's go ahead and simulate on to the regular season and see where our team is at. So apparently we could not get through the preseason without injury. Our left guard partially towards MCL. Willie Henry, our starting right end now, had a foot fracture, is out for 5 weeks. And Robert Griffin III, our backup quarterback, tore his shoulder, out for 3 weeks. So we'll have to go to Trevone Boykin for a backup, but at least it was not Lamar Jackson who got hurt. Just thought I'd have to show you that quick. Everybody always gets hurt. So looking through our roster quick, I really like the way this turned out. I don't like that they switched these guys right after I even switched their positions. I'm going to go ahead and swap them quick. Looks like I'll have to actually go into the depth chart. But let's just do a quick overview of our roster so I can show you where we're at after the preseason. Lamar Jackson starting at quarterback. Now Trevon Boykin a backup because RG3 is hurt. Once RG3 is back and healthy, he will be the starter. We're keeping all of our running backs they have in real life. Alex Collins starting at halfback. 81 overall, 2 years experience out of Arkansas. He's a really great back. I'm excited to keep him on the team this year. We'll see if we can find a superstar in the draft or maybe free agency, but I would likely only draft somebody over him. I think Alex Collins, Buck Allen, and Kenneth Dixon are 3 great running backs, so I'm not even going to mess with that. Patrick Ricard at fullback. Wide receivers, we have Michael Crabtree, of course, coming over. John Brown coming over as well. The speedster. Looks like he's only got 93 speed, 89 acceleration here. Seems a little weird. Willie Snead, Brashad Perryman, a fast wide receiver, Chris Moore, and then Equanimous St. Brown. I'm actually going to move St. Brown up in the roster. I think Snead's a good slot, though, so we'll keep him here. Brashad Perryman, huge speed guy. Hopefully he can get some playing time, too, but I want St. Brown to get some catches. Over at tight end, we have Hayden Hurst, the new rookie out of South Carolina, playing first. Mark Andrews and Max Williams sharing some time as reserves. At left tackle, as I wish, Orlando Brown will be there. Ronnie Staley, I think we want to move on over to right tackle. So we're going to switch these guys in and out a little bit. We'll have this dude as a backup. Siragusa, Nico Siragusa, he's our starting left guard right now. Donnell is a backup left guard. At center, we have Matt Skura, 65 overall. We do have a rookie here. I'll just leave him for now. We're probably going to have to end up having to draft a center or a guard to convert to center. At right guard, we of course have the team captain Marshall Yanda, 11 years experience in the league, getting a little up there in age, but he is a staple of the Ravens. We are leaving him there for sure. And then over at right tackle, it's going to be Ronnie Staley. Not sure why they wanted to switch those guys. It looked like Ronnie Staley is a much better run blocker. Maybe it's because left tackle is a slightly more important position. Anywho, Brandon Williams, a defensive captain, is starting at left end. At right end, our guy down here, Willie Henry, got hurt. So in the meantime, it'll be Carl Davis starting. Not a huge downgrade, so I'm not too upset about it. Michael Pierce, the 87 overall, 2-year man out of Samford. He's going to definitely start right at D-tackle. And then looks like we're playing a 3-4 if he's our reserve, but we'll put a D-tackle in as our secondary just in case. No, this is all right. If we play... No, yeah, we have to do that. Sorry. Matthew Judon starting left outside linebacker with Zadarius Smith backing him. Oh, no, let's have Bowser back him up. Tyus Bowser at middle linebacker. Ooh, but I didn't think about this. We should put Darren Lee in here just in case. Actually, I want Darren Lee to be the backup at every position because I want him to get good for the chance Terrell Suggs retires and we might get to move Darren Lee over to an outside linebacker, so hopefully he can end up being good. Let's go ahead and switch Darren Lee over here too and make sure, yep, Tyus Bowser. Cool. I like it. So that's how our linebackers are looking. Jimmy Smith, obviously staple at cornerback. Marlon Humphrey bumping up one spot in the depth chart after we traded away Brandon Carr. He is now going to be covering number 2 wide receivers, 1 year out of Alabama. He's shown to be a pretty good corner so far. Hopefully he can get a lot better. Then we have Tavon Young, Anthony Averett, Darius Phillips. We're going to have some room for improvement in like the nickel and dime corners situation, so we're going to have to get another cornerback in this team, hopefully through the draft. Please, Eric Weddle, don't get hurt because Deshaun Elliott is our backup. Eric Weddle, you're the man. We're probably going to have to draft a guy to replace him as well. That's why this roster is going to be fun. They have a lot of good players, but a lot of them are old, so we're going to have to kind of transition them through that rebuild. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You let me know what you think anyways. Tony Jefferson will be our starting strong safety, 5 years in the league out of Oklahoma. Anthony Levine Sr. backing him up at kicker. Obviously, Justin Tucker, he's got a captain's badge. Sam Koch will be doing the punting. Kick return looks like we can really choose anybody we want to. I kind of like the idea. Ooh, I wish Brashad Perryman were better at it. I kind of want like Snead or John Brown to do it. Let's have John Brown maybe do it. He's 86 overall at it. And then we'll have Willie Snead. So John Brown, then Willie Snead. Punt returning, same old, same old. I think John Brown's a good returner. So John Brown, Willie Snead, kickoff specialist. Obviously, we have that all figured out. Kenneth Dixon. Yeah, I could see Kenneth Dixon being a third down back, and then Buck Allen. Alex Collins would be a first and second down back. Maybe the power back as well. Yeah, John Brown can play slot. Chris Moore, I'd probably rather put in a guy like St. Brown. I know he's not as good, but I want him to get some reps. And I don't really understand what these other ones are, guys. Sorry about that. But that is how our roster shakes out. I'm going to go back to the main menu here quick. For our season goal, guys, instead of 7 wins, I think I'm actually going to commit to 8 wins. I think we can do that. We had 9 wins last year, so if we get 1 less than that, we'd still be achieving our goal. I think we can do that. Lamar Jackson's going to be good in his first year for us, I believe. But that's really going to do it for episode 1. It's just setting up the team, getting through the off season, and then now our episode 2 will be week 1 of the season. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you are excited for this series, subscribe so you can see all of Lamar Jackson. I'm going to play every week of the season, so if you guys want to tune into that, I'm going to be posting highlights and gameplays, obviously, of me playing. So, subscribe if you want to see the games, you want to see Lamar Jackson, how he gets better through playing every game, what he looks like at the end of the year, if he wins Rookie of the Year, maybe even MVP, because he's going to be rushing for a lot of yards. Stick around to the channel, guys. Hit the subscribe button and the bell. Like the video if you want to see more of these. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.